I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. IV made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, let me start with something real. A few years back, I was sitting in my tiny apartment looking at my credit card statement and feeling like absolute garbage. I was 22 years old, working a job I hated, spending money I didn't have, and honestly had no clue what I was doing. My friends were out there posting vacation photos and new outfits on Instagram while I was hiding from my phone every time a bill reminder popped up. It felt like everyone had their life together except me. But here's the thing I figured out along the way. Most of those people were faking it just like I was trying to fake it. The difference between where I was then and where I am now is not some lucky break or secret money hack. It is the stuff I stopped doing. So let me walk you through the 7 things I had to avoid to finally get my act together, and I promise you this is not going to be some guru lecture. This is just one regular guy telling you what worked for him. First thing I had to quit was chasing money over skills. When I was younger, all I cared about was the paycheck. I wanted the highest paying job I could find because I thought that was the whole point, right? More money equals more happiness. But here's what I learned the hard way. When you only work for money, you end up stuck. You trade your time for cash, and when you stop working, the money stops too. That is a dangerous game. I remember this one time I took a job that paid pretty well compared to what my friends were making. I felt like a big shot for like 2 months. Then I realized I was learning absolutely nothing. Every day was the same grind. And I was not building anything that would help me 5 years down the road. I quit that job and took a pay cut to work somewhere where I could actually learn something useful. My friends thought I was crazy, my family was worried, but that decision changed everything. I started picking up skills that nobody could take away from me. Communication skills, negotiating skills, understanding how money actually works. Those things are way more valuable than any single paycheck. Think about it this way. If you lose your job but you have skills, you can always make money again. If you lose your job and all you have is a salary history, you are starting from zero. I became my own greatest asset. Every skill I learned was like adding another tool to my toolbox, and let me tell you, the demand for people who actually know what they are doing is huge. Most people are just winging it. If you put in the work to get good at something real, you will always have opportunities coming your way. Second thing I had to stop doing was pretending to be rich before I actually was. Oh man, this one hit close to home. In my early 20s, I wanted people to think I had it together. I bought clothes I could not afford. I went out to eat at places that hurt my wallet. I even thought about financing a car I had no business driving. Why? Because I wanted to look successful. I wanted people to see me and think, wow, he is doing well. But here's the truth. Nobody tells you. The people driving fancy cars and wearing designer stuff are often the most broke people you will ever meet. They are drowning in debt trying to look rich for an audience that does not care. I remember watching this guy on social media post photos from fancy restaurants and vacations. Everyone thought he was killing it. Turns out he was maxing out credit cards just to keep up the image. That is not wealth. That is a prison of your own. Making real wealth is quiet. It is boring. It is having money in the bank and options in your life. It is being able to handle an emergency without panicking. When I stopped trying to impress people, my whole financial situation shifted. I started putting money into things that actually grow instead of things that lose value. The second you buy them, that is the move. Stop trying to look rich and start trying to be rich. They are two completely different things. Third thing I had to learn was that I cannot do everything by myself. This was tough for me because I have always been the type to just grind it out alone. I thought asking for help was a sign of weakness, but here's what I realized. The most successful people in the world did not get there alone. They had mentors, they had partners, they had people who pushed them and taught them things. I remember trying to handle every single part of my life by myself. Budgeting, working side hustles, trying to learn investing all at once. I was burning out fast, then I started reaching out to people who knew more than me. I found a couple of older guys who had been through what I was going through. They gave me advice that saved me years of struggle, and I also learned to ask for help with stuff I was not good at. If you are trying to build something, whether it is a career or business or just a better financial situation, do not be afraid to get help. Find people who are where you want to be and learn from them. Most people are actually happy to share what they know if you approach them the right way. And if you can afford it, consider paying someone who knows their stuff. A good financial coach or mentor can save you way more money than they cost you. Fourth thing I had to stop doing was listening to too many people. When I started trying to get my life together, everyone had an opinion. My uncle told me to buy real estate. My friend said crypto was the move. Some blog said I should start a side hustle selling stuff online. Another person said focus on my career and forget about side hustles. It was overwhelming. I felt like I was being pulled in a million directions and I ended up doing nothing. Here's what I figured out. You cannot take advice from everyone. Most people giving you advice are not where you want to be. They mean well, but they are operating from their own limited experience. I had to learn to filter out the noise and focus on a few voices that actually knew what they were talking about. I picked 1 or 2 mentors, 1 or 2 books, and 1 clear plan. That was it. When you try to follow too many paths, you end up lost. Pick a direction and commit to it. You can always adjust later, but you cannot move forward if you are constantly second-guessing yourself because of what someone else said. Fifth thing I had to work on was my ego. This one hurts to admit, but I used to think I knew better than everyone. I would ignore advice because I thought I was smarter or different, and you know where that got me? Nowhere. Fast ego is dangerous because it makes you stop learning when you think you have it all figured out. You close yourself off to ideas that could actually change your life. I remember reading this book about investing and thinking, yeah, I already know all this. Then I actually sat down and really paid attention and realized I knew nothing. That humbling moment changed everything. I started going into every conversation with the mindset that I could learn something, even from people who had less money than me or less education. Everyone knows something you do not know. Stay curious, stay humble. The moment you think you have arrived is the moment you stop growing. And in a world that is changing fast, stopping growing is the same as falling behind. Sixth thing I had to stop doing was blaming other people for my situation. Oh, this is a big one. It is so easy to look at your life and point fingers. The economy is bad. My boss does not like me. I did not get the same opportunities as other people. My parents did not teach me about money. And sure, some of that might be true, but here's the hard truth I had to accept. Blaming other people does not change anything. It just keeps you stuck. I spent a whole year feeling sorry for myself because I thought the world was against me. Then one day I looked in the mirror and realized I was the common denominator in all my problems. That was tough to swallow, but once I took responsibility for my situation, everything shifted. I stopped waiting for things to happen and started making them happen. If I did not know something, I learned it. If I made a mistake, I owned it and figured out how to fix it. Taking responsibility is the most empowering thing you can do because it puts the control back in your hands. As long as you are blaming someone else, you are giving away your power. Take it back. Seventh and last thing I had to break free from was staying in my comfort zone. Listen, I get it. Comfort is nice. It feels safe. You know what your day looks like. You know how much money is coming in. You are not taking risks. But here's the thing. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. I was stuck for years because I was too scared to try new things. I was scared to ask for a raise, scared to start a side hustle, scared to learn about investing, and staying scared kept me exactly where I was. I remember the first time I tried something completely outside my comfort zone, I was terrified. My hands were shaking. I almost backed out. But I pushed through and it opened doors I did not even know existed. Every time you step outside what is familiar, you grow a little bit. You learn something about yourself, you build confidence, and over time that comfort zone gets bigger and bigger until the things that used to scare you become normal. Start small. Do one thing this week that makes you uncomfortable. Send that email, ask that question, start that project you have been putting off. Your future self will thank you. Look, I am not sitting here telling you I have everything figured out. I am 27 and still learning every single day. But I have come a long way from that broke, confused kid sitting in his apartment hiding from his bills. And the only reason I made it is because I started avoiding these 7 things. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this, your 20s are not about having it all figured out. They are about figuring it out. Make mistakes, learn from them, keep moving forward, and stop doing the things that are holding you back. Peace.